Welcome to Wheels and Watches DIY. My name is Dennis, and today we're going to talk about sharpening your screwdrivers. If you're into watchmaking, you know how important it is to have properly dressed screwdrivers. So, as time goes on, you want to dress your screwdriver better and better, and I came across this Horotec 01.504, and I really liked it. The problem is, it is really expensive. How expensive, you ask? Well, by the time it's said and done, it's going to be over $400 by the time I get it into my hands. So instead, I bought something from AliExpress that looked identical. But is it? As you can see, you mount your screwdriver in a holder, and that holder goes in between two round stones, which creates the T-shaped blade. And then to round off or make that end nice and flat, you're going to use the finishing stone. So let's see what I got in mail. So let's open this thing up. By the way, this is not a sponsored video in any way, shape, or form. I spend my own money in hopes to make my screwdrivers a little bit better. The package came relatively quickly, and I was really pleased with that. It was packaged well, and besides that little break in the plastic, everything was intact. I do have to say that the feel of the tool was pretty good. Everything was made from metal. You had an Allen key to adjust the stones, the gap between the two round stones. And then, and those little holders for the screwdrivers were different diameters, I suppose. And out of curiosity, first of all, I didn't want to mess up my really nice screwdrivers, so I started with the cheap ones. And here you can see my cheap screwdriver that's sort of dressed, and we're gonna try and sharpen it. As you can see right away, there is a bit of a gap when I put the screwdriver in, and I didn't really like that. So let's see if it works a little bit. I did adjust the gaps between the two round stones before I got started. And I'm trying to see the edge of that blade. And then I use a Sharpie just on the tip of that screwdriver just to see what kind of shape we're gonna end up with after we're done sharpening. All right, so we're gonna try to freehand this and awkwardly support the screwdriver while I sharpen it. I almost felt like I needed a third hand to support the base, just so this contraption does not slide on me back and forth. But eventually we'll get there. So what did I like about this tool? Well, it gives you supposedly consistent results with your sharpening, and you're able to sharpen all of your screwdrivers in the same way. Secondly, you're gonna have a nice flat tip when you use that finishing stone, that square one that's on top, and that's gonna give you nice unscratched screws in theory. What I didn't like, well, the main thing that I didn't like, again, was that little holder. The difference between the cheap AliExpress version and the Horotec 01.504 is the holder. I believe the Horotec comes with 3 different sizes, which are most commonly used by big brands like Horotec or Bershon. And what I tried doing here is I tried to secure the screwdriver within that little slot, within that little holder, in hopes that it doesn't wiggle around too much and it will give me a better result. And it sort of did. Now, as I went through all of my cheap screwdrivers, the sharpening wasn't consistent, even after I adjusted the gap between the round stones. So that was another negative for me. If you're spending a pile of money on nice screwdrivers, I didn't really want to mess those up. I would much rather sharpen them by hand, where I know exactly what angle I'm gonna get, because I can manually adjust that. Then after that, I didn't like, again, because of how wiggly the screwdriver was within that little holder, how uneven the edge was after I tried to finish the edge on that C shape. And here I'm trying to show you. This one was pretty decent. It gave me a bit of that T shape, as you could see the contrast between the tip and where the Sharpie marker was. And here I'm just showing how wiggly that holder was. So in the end, did it work? I would say no. Unfortunately, I did have to return it, and for now, I'll just use my manual sharpening way of dressing my screwdrivers, and I'm gonna wait and see if I really need that T-shaped sharpener from Horotec. And I hope that when I buy that, it will do a much better job than the AliExpress special. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.